My dad dragged me across the driveway by my hair for blocking my sister's car. Then he kicked me into the trash can. Useless things belong in the dump. Dad laughed. She has no future anyway. Mom said they had no idea what I would do next. Move your junk heap of a car, Emily. You're always in the way. My sister Rachel screamed, slamming her palm against the hood. Maybe if you didn't act like the queen of the driveway, I wouldn't have to. I shot back. Dad's voice thundered behind me. Don't talk back to her. She actually works for something in this life. You're nothing but dead weight. Before I could even step aside, his hand tangled in my hair. The driveway burned against my knees as he dragged me across the concrete, my scalp screaming. A final shove, then the stench of garbage, my body folding into the trash can as his boot found my side. Useless things belong in the dump, he sneered. My name is Emily Carter, 24 years old. For years, I've been the family's afterthought, the shadow. I've worked small jobs, studied at night, lived quiet. But none of it mattered. They never saw me. Not the sacrifices, not the dreams I buried to keep peace. I've always been the wrong one, the disappointment, the problem. And I'm tired. The family members, Dad, Richard, 62. Retired early, bitter, obsessed with control. Mom, Linda, 58. Quiet, complicit, always smoothing over his anger with silence. Rachel, 27. My sister, college degree, shiny career, Dad's pride. Me, Emily, 24. The scapegoat, the one they unload their guilt on. I pushed myself out of the trash can, blood trickling from my elbow where the metal had cut me. My chest heaved, my pride burning hotter than the pain. You can't keep treating me like this, I shouted, my voice shaking between rage and despair. Rachel folded her arms, smirking as if my misery entertained her. You bring it on yourself, Em. Always making drama, always playing the victim. Dad's right. When have you ever done something worth being proud of? Her words stung worse than Dad's shove. They weren't just insults. They were verdicts. Dad jabbed his finger at me like a judge sentencing a criminal. You think this house is yours? You think you deserve a place here? You've been living off us rent-free, eating our food, wasting our money, while Rachel carries her weight. You should have been cut off years ago. His voice echoed in the driveway, louder than the sound of my own heartbeat. For a moment, I felt 10 years old again, small, powerless. But inside me, something finally snapped. My chest tightened, but I forced the words out. You don't know what I've done for this family. Rachel scoffed, flipping her hair. What, crying in your room? Posting sad quotes online? That's not helping, Emily. I clenched my fist so hard my nails dug into my palms. No, Rachel. You don't know because you never cared to ask. Check the bank statements. The mortgage 3 years ago. Who do you think covered the missing payments? The hospital bill when Mom collapsed? Who paid when Dad's retirement check bounced? Me. Rachel froze, confusion flickering across her face. I continued, my voice rising with years of buried anguish. I worked 2 jobs, skipped meals, drained every cent of my savings, while you both looked the other way. While Dad pretended everything was fine, I kept this house standing while you all called me useless. For the first time in years, silence fell. Even Dad didn't have an immediate comeback. The memories cut through me like glass. I was 21 again, standing at the bank with shaking hands, sliding my debit card to cover the mortgage. Dad barked at the teller, furious about missing retirement funds, while I quietly transferred everything I had left. He didn't even look at me. He never said thank you. Then Mom's voice whispered in my ear later that night. Don't tell Rachel. It'll upset her. Just be strong, Emily. She doesn't need to know. Be strong. Be invisible. That was always my role. I remembered walking home in the rain after 12-hour shifts, my shoes soaked, my stomach empty because I couldn't afford dinner, while Dad watched TV in a recliner I paid for, while Rachel laughed about new handbags, while Mom told me not to cause conflict. And through it all, they called me the burden. Dad's face turned crimson, veins bulging. His voice shook with rage. Liar! You never had that kind of money. You're just trying to make me look bad. But my hands were steady as I pulled the folder from my backpack. I had carried it for years like a secret weapon. Receipts, bank statements, copies of cashier's checks signed in my name. Proof of every sacrifice. I threw them onto the hood of Rachel's car. The papers fluttered in the wind, but the truth was heavy enough to crush years of lies. Mom picked one up, her hands trembling. Richard. She's telling the truth. Rachel's face paled. Wait. If she paid? Then what about the money you told me was yours, Dad? The bonus you bragged about? You made me think. Her voice cracked. Dad's silence was louder than any confession. His eyes darted, searching for control that had slipped through his fists. Rachel stepped back as if she didn't recognize him anymore. Rachel's voice rose, shrill and breaking. You made me hate her. You told me she was worthless, lazy, pathetic, while you stole her sacrifices and paraded them as yours. Dad slammed his fist on the car hood so hard the papers scattered. Enough. I am the head of this family, and you will respect me. No. My voice cut through his rage like a blade. For the first time, I didn't tremble. You're not the head. You're the weight that's been crushing us all. You lied. You broke us apart. And you'll never control me again. Rachel covered her mouth, sobbing. Mom sat on the porch steps, her face buried in her hands. And Dad? Dad sat down on the edge of the driveway, shaking. Not from guilt, but from the realization that the throne he had built was crumbling beneath him. For once, his power didn't reach me. I walked into the night, the cool air against my bruises like a strange kind of freedom. Every step away from that driveway was a step out of a prison I hadn't realized I was living in. Behind me, Mom followed, her slippers dragging. Her voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. Emily, I'm sorry. I should have stopped him years ago. I should have protected you. Tears welled in my eyes, but I swallowed them back. You chose silence, Mom. That hurt just as much. She nodded, her lips trembling. Not forgiveness yet, but acknowledgement. For once, she saw me. The days that followed weren't clean or easy. Dad still barked orders, but they carried no weight. Rachel avoided me, but her silence wasn't scorn anymore. It was guilt. And me? I packed my things. Every shirt, every book, every little piece of myself I had hidden in that house went into boxes. My new apartment was small, with peeling paint and a door that stuck when it rained, but it was mine. No shouting, no fists, no constant reminder that I was less than. I worked long hours, saved again, and finally enrolled part-time in night school. The bruises healed. The scars didn't disappear, but they became markers of survival, not shame. One night, standing in the middle of my tiny apartment with nothing but a mattress on the floor, I whispered into the silence. I'm not useless. I never was. And for the first time, I didn't just say it. I believed it. If you were Emily, dragged, dismissed, betrayed by the people who should have protected you, what would you do? Would you fight back? Would you walk away? If this story touched you, subscribe for more stories like this. Real, raw, emotional journeys of survival and strength. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been overlooked by your family? What helped you heal? What advice would you give Emily, or anyone carrying scars like hers? Because sometimes sharing your story is the first step toward taking your power back.